Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lina Sisniastuti. My student number is 1735. I'm from Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto and my major is English Education Department. So here I will explain about the video that I have watched yesterday. It is about a workshop, namely Youth Virtual Tour Guiding Workshop by Mr. James Joseph Galvez. So there are three questions that I will answer. Question number one is, what is it about? So in that workshop, tell us about the technique on managing of live virtual tour. Okay, I will start explain about that video. Okay, when we are going to do tourism guiding virtually, it is better to use photos or videos, or you can use your computers or laptops. Uh, Live virtual tour guide is very important to our guidings, because in a live virtual it can be two-way interaction in there. So why live? For example, you can use Instagram live or Facebook live to uh, guide your tourists in a virtual. So a virtual tour guide is a professional who uses the technology to create a tourism experience. Okay, next, what is the differences between virtual guidings and physically tour guidings? So I will explain. So face-to-face guiding versus virtual tour guidings, there are some differences. Number one is social interaction. So in a physical guidings, the main responsibility of the guide is actually safety of the tourists. But in a virtual guidings, safety is absent. So there are that is the differences between in a physically guidings and virtually guidings. And the next, no, number two is freedom flexibility. In a physically guidings, we are intact with the program that we have bought from the travel agency. So but in a virtual guidings, we the tourists can set schedule, and then they can register themselves with a link, or maybe a link, yes. And then in a virtual guidings, it is very comfortable, because we can while doing other activities when we virtual guidings. So that that is the differences in freedom and flexibility. And number three, it is about economic impact. So in a basically guidings, the travel agency would give 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 us guides, will pay the tax to government. But in a virtual guidings, we don't pay taxes, because we just pay for our internet connection. And then next, virtual tours cost less. So in a virtual tours, they are more cheaper than physically guidings, because almost of virtual tour is free. And then next is it about guidings technique modification. So in a physically guidings, we manage our neverness to the tourists, but in a virtual guidings, the tension of never, nervousness is less than physically guidings, because we just first we just facing the laptop, our laptops, and yeah, just talk to the tourists in virtual. And then next, I will explain about elements of a live virtual tour experience. So there are 5 elements that we can learn to to increase live virtual tour experience. Number one is device. So device is important because it is a tool to virtual guidings. We can use personal computers or laptops. And then number two is internet. So internet is very important, because with internet we can contribute in a virtual. And then number three, is platform. Platform is application to guides with virtual tour. So almost people use Zoom application to meet with virtually. Other application is we can use Facebook Live, maybe Instagram Live, or Google Meet, or etc. And then number four is audio. Audio it's too important, because we can hear voices with the tourists, so it's very important. And then number five is visuals. Visuals will answer the interest our tour. We can use photos, videos, maybe, and then we can use Google Street View to guide our tourists. And then next is about how to prepare a live virtual tour. So there are some points to how to prepare. Number one is the profile of the tourist. So before we tour before we guide a tourist, so we have to know the profile of the tourist. For example, in language, what is the language? And then next, mood. So some people have different mood, yes. So we have to know, like what they like, with what they don't like. And then links and hooks. And then next, number two is decide the type of tour. So there are some classification of tour. There are city tour or modern tour, historical tour, museum tour, countryside tour, or specialty tour. So the tourist can choose what type of tour. And then next is prepare the tour script. So in a virtual practice based on script using the application. So yeah, that is the different with a physically virtual, because in a virtual we just use application and then record for self-assessment. So uh, we know that what we wrong, and that's it. And then next is include insights, include enhancers. So uh, you can talk with your tourists. The there that is what is souvenirs in the place that you go with your tourists. And then next is set the date and time. So we we ask the guiding, so we have to know what weather in that time, and then schedule and internet connection time in the in a that place. Okay. And then next, market the virtual tour. So you can market your virtual tour in a social media. There are so many social media now, so you can share your virtual tour in a social media. And then next, I will explain about segments of a virtual tour. So there are 5 segments. It's about 45 minutes for virtual tour guidings. Okay, number one is introduction. It is around 5 minutes. So in introduction, you can introduce yourself to the tourist. You can telling name or uh, name, hobby, or etc. And then next, number two is body. There are that is around 30 minutes. But the body is the content of your virtual tour. You can use Google Street Views or other. Google Street Views is very uh, good for our virtual tour, because we can see the building, the street, or etc. And then next, number three is end notes. It's around 5 minutes. So in this part is to thank them and invite them to know that what is the transportation, or what is we can use buy souvenir there. And then next, the last is question and answer season, and it is around 5 minutes. In this in this question and answer, we can open the cameras to invite the tourist question to us. And then next, the last point, I will explain about practical tips. So there are nine tips for we for our virtual guidings. Okay, number one is answer a stable connection. So we have to know our connection, our internet connection. And then number two is dress appropriately. So we as the guiding have to wear have to wear a good looking, good dress, good shirt, or yeah, good looking for our tourists. And then number three, find a conducive working environment. So when we create a virtual tourist virtual guiding tourist, so please find a conducive environment, so our voices will hear to our tourists clearly. And then number four is talk continuously. So please improve your speak, and then talk to the tourists with a professional speaker. And then number four is answer a simple yet professional background. So please choose your best background to your virtual guidings. And then number six is plan for backups. So you should have backups, because if you are a mom, you have a baby, so in that time while you virtual with your tourists, the baby is crying, so you have to set your backups. And then number seven is display a full view as possible. So you can yes, you should uh, create photos, videos, or something, play videos or something. And then number eight is master the principle of visuals over audio. So visual and audio is very important. And then the last is ask for feedback. Don't worry to ask your tourists to feedback your presentation in virtual tour guiding. Okay. Okay. And then that that's all for my explanation about the video. And then I will answer number two. The question is how you conclude the message. So by watching the workshop video, we as tour guides can learn what is needed when guiding some tourists virtually. And then number three, the question is what value you can take from it. So we can take value. Number one is we can understand the differences between physical versus virtual guidings. And then we can understand about technique in virtual guidings. And then we know about how to prepare live virtual guidings. Okay, I think that's all from me. I hope you can get benefit from my video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.